Hello everyone. Today we are going to see Operating System Unit 1 Session 7. In previous topic we have studied about kernels, that is macro kernel and hybrid kernel. We also seen the difference between the monolithic kernel and macro kernel, and we also seen the operating system structure. How was the operating system structure in the earlier days and in today's generation. Types of operating system based on processors. We have two types in this, single processor systems and multiprocessor systems. So let us understand single processor system with help of a diagram first. In a single processor system, by the name only you will understand, in these systems we find out only a single processor, that is single CPU, and all the tasks will be done by the single CPU, whether it is execution or whether it is switching from user mode to kernel mode, or whether it is managing the memories or any other task. Okay, this all will be handled by the single CPU. So in this diagram you can see there is a single CPU and all the execution is done by the single CPU. Okay, if there is a single CPU in the system, it will execute at a time only one process. You can see here, these all we call it as processes. See, that means a user is working on a browser, he is also working on a Excel, he is also working on a Paint or listening a music. This all will be treated as a process and this will be executed by the CPU. Okay, and at a time it can execute only one process. Okay, it can execute either browser or Excel or Paint, but the user will feel that he is working on at a time multiple tasks are executing. Okay, user will not come to know that at a time only one process is executed because the switching is very fast here between the processes, so that the user will not understand that at a time only one process will get executed, and he will feel that he's simultaneously all processes are executing. Okay, so single CPU will execute many tasks here. It will allow the user to work on browser, Excel, Paint, and etc. So in this diagram you can see there are three tasks here, and this color indicates for CPU time and this pink color indicates waiting time. So there are three tasks executing at a time. So when the task 1 is executing, the remaining tasks are in a waiting mode. Okay, and when the first task is in a waiting mode and task 2 is executing here now, and task 3 is also in a waiting mode. Okay, and in the column, next column also you can see task 1 and task 2 are in a waiting mode and task 3 is executing here. Okay, from this you can see when the particular task is executing here, the remaining tasks are waiting. That means at a time only one task can be executed by the single CPU. Okay, now in this also you can see when task 1 and task 3 are in waiting mode, task 2 is executing here. In this also you can see task 1 and task 2 are in a waiting mode and task 3 is executing. That means at a time only one task or only one process can be executed by the single processor, and remaining other will be in a waiting, and when this task finishes the chance will be given to the waiting processes. Okay, see, let us revise those points. Most systems use single processor systems. Yes, in most of the systems we find out single processor system only, like our laptops or smartphones. Okay, there we find the single processor only. Okay, but with multiple cores. Next, they perform only one process at a time, and it carries out the next process in the queue. So as I told you, at a time it will execute only one process and remaining all will be in the queue. When the one process finishes its execution, the other process will be given the chance for execution by the CPU. So all the processes will be executed by the CPU only. Operating system monitors the status of them and also sends them next executable instructions. Yes. Operating system keeps on monitoring these all things. Okay, what CPU should execute and which instruction, which process it should execute. Operating system will monitor these all things. It relieves CPU of descheduling and other tasks. Okay. Descheduling, about this scheduling and all, we'll going to see in the later chapters. Okay. It is suitable for general purpose computers as it cannot run multiple processes in parallel. As it is suitable for general purpose computer means our personal computers. Okay, our personal computers are called as general purpose computers, like our desktops, smartphones, tabs. These all comes under the general purpose computers, and these computers are used for personal use. Like we use the laptops for own use. Okay, and we whatever we want to do, we execute all in a system. Next is advantages. Supports one user at a time. Yes, that is the advantage. Supports one user at a time. So in these systems, one user is only active at a time. Okay, like we use laptops, and at a time only one user can use that laptop. That's why one user is only active at a time. So there will be no other users interfering with the applications. No any user is going to interfere with your applications. And in these systems, all computer resources are used by a user request. Okay, all computer resources like memory and hard disk. Okay, this all will be used by the computer resources are used by the user request. So whenever the user requests any resources, the system should provide them these all things. Next is easy to maintain. Easy to maintain as it is a single processor and single user is going to use it. So it is easy to maintain. The system uses less resources and the complexity of them is also less. So it is easy to maintain and debug. Next is less chance to damage. Okay. So this system includes less requirements of hardware and software as only there is a single processor and single user. Okay, the requirements are very less of hardware and softwares. Okay, and at a time, so they have less chance to damage. Means requirements to hardware and software at a time is less, so they have less chance to damage. Next, disadvantage. First point you can see, tasks takes longer time to complete. Tasks take longer time to complete. Okay. See, if no multiple tasks run at a time, then many tasks are waiting for the CPU. Now suppose if a particular task is executing, particular process is executing, and remaining all are in a waiting state. Okay, and if the first task is taking too much long time for execution and remaining task needs only the few minutes to execute. So because of that long process, the other task has to keep on waiting. That's why it's going to affect the other processor tasks. Tasks take longer time to complete. So this will make system slow and response time is higher here. Next is idle time is higher. Okay. As you all know, in single processor, only one task run at a time. Then other tasks have to wait till first task is finished. So CPU memory and disk input output not used properly. Because most of the time, because of waiting mode, most of the time CPU is going to be idle. Some of the time input output devices are going to be idle. Even if there are waiting processes waiting for them. Okay. Throughput is nothing but the response speed of the system. Okay. Throughput of single processor system is less than the multi-processor system because each and every task is performed by the single processor by the same processor. As I told you, everything will be handled, all execution will be handled by the single processor. Okay, that's why the throughput speed response it is going to be less compared to multiprocessor system. Okay, in the previous topic we have not gone into the details, just overview of seen. Now let us see in detail about this. So there are processors inside the processors we find out single core, dual core, quad core and octa core. So these are the and we find out this inside the processors. Which task, this core's job is to execute the task given by the CPU. So responsibility of this core is to execute any task or processes which is given by the CPU, and it acts like a multiprocessor. So if there are more, as I know, in single core only one, single core at a time only one task can be executed, and in a dual core more tasks can be executed, and in quad core also more tasks can be executed. In dual core we find out 2 cores, in quad core we find out 4 cores. So sometimes, so because of this, if there are multiple cores in the processors, the response from the system will be fast, and at a time more processes can be executed. Next is multiprocessor operating system. By the name only you'll understand, where there are more than 2 central processing units in a single computer system, and it is also known as parallel or tightly coupled system, as they can run multiple processes in parallel to each other efficiently. That means in this 2 processes can run simultaneously at a time, because of more than one processor. That is, one CPU is executing one process and another CPU is also executing another process. So these 2 processes are running simultaneously, they are executing simultaneously in the system. 2 or more processors will be in close communication with each other with shared memory, storage and power supply. Yes, in this system, as there are more than 2 CPUs, memory will be shared among the CPUs, storage will be shared, and even the power supply will be shared among the CPUs. Now in this multiprocessor system, there are 2 approaches. One is symmetric multiprocessing and one is asymmetric multiprocessing. So in a symmetric multiprocessing, as there are more than one processor, so each processor performs all the tasks within the operating system. So in this, each processor performs all the tasks within the operating system. So whereas in this asymmetric multiprocessing, one process works like a master and another one works like a slave. That means one master will be there who will be controlling all other slave processes. So in this diagram you can see the difference. One is without multiprocessing and one is with multiprocessing. So in this without multiprocessing, you can see there is a single CPU, and single CPU is executing all the processes, and this processes we also called as job. At a time only one process can be executed. When this finishes execution of job 1, it will execute job 2. When the job 2 finishes, it will execute job 3. Whereas with this multiprocessing, there are 2 CPUs, CPU 1 and CPU 2, and the processes will be distributed among CPU 1 and CPU 2 for execution. So CPU 1 is executing some processes like job 1 and job 4, and CPU 2 is also executing job 2 and job 3. That means here both processes are busy in executing the processes. And that's why, and the execution will be fast because 2 processes are working here and they are executing the processes. And the response from the system also will be fast here. First one is increased throughput. As there are a number of processors, more work can be done in less time. These multiple processors run parallel to each other, increasing the performance of the system. That's why it is a increased throughput compared to the single processor system. Next is reliability and failure free. Yes, failure of any processor will not affect the functionality of the system. As there are more than one processor, even if one of the processor fails, stops working, the other processor keeps on working. still keeps on working, but somewhat the system will slow down, but the system still works and it keeps on executing the processes. Next is economy of scale. These systems can save money in compared to single processor systems, because the processors can the processors can share devices and peripheral devices, power supplies and other devices, and memories also. Okay, sharing is happening in this multiprocessor system. That's why it is less costly compared to the single processor system. The difference between single processor system and multiprocessor system is, first difference is, single processor will be having only one CPU, multiprocessor will be having more than one CPUs. And here in single processor throughput is less, and in a multiprocessor the throughput is greater compared to the single processor. And next is, single processors are costly, and whereas multiprocessors are less costly, because in a single processor the resources are not shared separately, everything has to be purchased, whereas in multiprocessor there is the sharing of resources. That's why it is a less costly. And single processors are easy to design, whereas multiprocessors are very complicated to design. And single processors are used in the modern computers, whereas multiprocessors are used on large computers or at the server types and all. Next we'll see types of operating system based on user. First one is single user and single task. That means single user is executing single task. That means if there is a single core, then a single user can execute single task at a time. So as the name implies, this operating system is designed to manage the computer so that one user can effectively do one thing at a time. Next is single user and multitasking. Yes, this time there is a single user and can perform multiple tasks. And the example is like Windows user. Okay. Now what we do, we on our laptop and we work on multiple tasks at a time. We listen the music, we'll browse the internet, and we'll play the game here. So at a time we are doing here multiple tasks. As a single user, we are performing here multiple tasks. So this type of operating system most people use on their desktops and laptops, allows a single user to have several programs in one operation at a same time. Okay. So for example, it's entirely possible for a Windows user to writing a note in a Word, C, at the same time downloading a file, at the same time printing a text from the email message. So this is all happen because of the multiple cores in the processor. Okay, execution will be fast, and at a time multiple processes can be executed. Next is multi-user and multitasking operating system. Okay. Multi-user and multi-operating system, the best example is the Unix and mainframe operating system, where many users are combining and working on some specific project or some specific work they are doing. Okay, where the multiple users have to use the resources. Okay, so this operating system allows many different users to take advantage of the computer resources. Okay, take another example in our lab. Okay, there is a single printer, and single printer is shared by many students. Okay, shared by many students. So like this way, in multi-user and multitasking, they're sharing the resources. The operating system must make sure that the requirements of the various users are balanced, and each of the programs they are using has sufficient and separate resources. Yes, multi-user and multitasking main intention is sharing the resources. So this way the types of operating system based on the processor and user. In the next topic we'll see again various different types of operating system. Thank you.